And it's going.
Oh, wow. We're here.
This is happening. This is scary.
Real.
This is really scary.
Wow. It's kind of funny, too, because this is going to be like the first podcast and the only podcast that we kind of do in like a different location.
I know. This is like a temporary setup for people that are watching at home on YouTube. So hello, viewers.
Hello, how you doing?
We are an audio and visual podcast, so we will be on any type of streaming service, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all of the above.
I'm going to move this. That's very awkward. Sorry.
Do you want to introduce yourself first?
All right. Well, ladies first, actually.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm Danielle. I'm 27. And I do content creating already on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. So content has been something that's very, very important to me. And this brand is really important to Drew and I. We are still kids. It's a pretty big and deep subject for us. I feel like it comes with a lot of weight and responsibility. So I want this to be a safe space for people to come and know that they're not alone in like the taboo things that they want to do with their lives or the directions that they want to take in their lives, because society is pretty stringent on like what they think we should be doing at a certain age. And I feel like this is going to be a safe space to talk about the things that actually happen at certain ages and are like more realistic than what society tries to push on us. So
yeah. Oh, so I guess it's my turn. Sorry. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Drew Barkley, aka Drew the Recluse. I am also 27 because that seems to be our number here. And, I've known Danielle for a very long time, and we've wanted to do something, to figure out a way to talk to people about, the changes that will happen, in your 20s and as you get into your 30s. And we figured that this was one of the best ways to sort of convey that in a transparent sense to help those that are still trying to seek out and figure out and even maybe not figure out, but to accept those mistakes and see them, their mistakes and their failures as lessons. At the same time, also have a little fun. We're going to talk about pop culture. We're going to talk about, things on the internet. We're going to talk about all the things that, keep everybody thriving in their day to day, or should I say week to week. And so I'm very excited. This brand, we are still kids. I mean, it is, we're all children, we're all learning. And I think that it's important that, the more that we acknowledge that we are always learning and that there is no all knowing, the better it is for everybody and the better it is that you have a more prosperous and fulfilling life. So
Agreed. That's such a really good way to explain it, because I feel like we are still kids could be taken so many different ways. It could be really deep or it could be really, really shallow. I mean, we went with like a really fun logo, and just to shout out the person that helped me with all of this, logo and merchandise, Myra Driver. She does have an Etsy link. I'll put it down in the description below, so that you can go and show her some love, because she does do banners and t-shirts and all that other
she
things.
too can get you a fly banner like this.
Yes.
But if you really want somebody to make you a fly banner, it'll be Danielle, because she did all of this amazing design. She did the cups. I mean, she's really supplying all of the equipment here. So, honestly, like, hit her up, because, Danielle is amazing. And
I
she's
appreciate
really
it.
the one that's really, set this up. I'm just really just along for the ride and the look,
That is so not
chocolate
true.
handsome. So, that's how it is,
That is so
Maybe a little bit of Yoda philosophy, but not in the dyslexic speak, though. So, yeah, that's true.
So we kind of want to go into a little bit about what goes on with our lives, because that's like the whole reason we got this thing going on, because we would just call each other in frustration of the stupid little things that we'd go through.
I mean, maybe not frustration. Okay, sometimes frustration. We mostly. It's kind of interesting how our relationship as friends is, because we've kind of been like in and sort of out, and it's almost like we're in, and then someone's got to go through like a chapter, and then that happens, and then then that person comes back in, and then someone's got to go through a chapter. And this was sort of like the best way that we could have the chapters together, because I think we've been through enough. Are we? I think we have to settle this here. Are we cursing on this
podcast, or are we? Yeah, it's explicit for sure.
Well, try to keep up with each other's shit. That's
yes.
what I'm trying. That's what I was trying. I didn't know whether or not I didn't know. Yes, I'll have some water. Thank you so much.
In your cool We Are Still Kids cup.
Yes. You can't buy these yet, but you will be able to.
Yes. Let us know in the comments if you are interested. We want to create some t-shirts and logos and things like that. But yes, Drew is correct. We have been in and out of friendship for a long time. We went to high school together. So we've known each other since so many different developmental stages in our lives. Yep. And we've talked to each other in certain times in our lives. And I feel like we always come back into friendship because we kind of have the same understanding and respect for each other.
And she always continues to look the same, and I always seem to get 40 pounds heavier. So
that is so not true. I gained weight too. I gained weight. That's another thing we can talk about.
She didn't gain anything. Don't let her fool you, okay? She looks fantastic. She's always looked fantastic.
Oh, hush.
Me, on the other hand, I look like Forrest Whitaker without the lazy eye. So, that's how it is.
So, a little bit about what's going on in our lives. So right now I'm 27 and I still live with my mother. And a lot of people would say that like I need to get my shit together. What am I doing? All of these things. And this is a big factor of why I wanted to do this podcast, because I feel like there's never a time or a right time to do anything. There's never something that you have to force for a reason if you're not ready or the situation doesn't present itself. Forcing something also won't get you in the right direction, because if you force, you're probably going to end up in a different direction that you weren't supposed to be in. You're always in the right place at the right time. And I like to explain that and remind myself that, because it does get frustrating. I mean, being 27, living with your mom, like you're in such a different headspace at that age. You can relate because you live with your parents still too now.
It is kind of crazy because it's, I've lived with my parents for a very long time, and, huge change happened today. I just got, just signed with my girlfriend for our first apartment. And I think that there's definitely, yay, milestone. Which is why we're talking about why this will be a temporary.
I definitely still live with my mom, but yes.
No, okay, listen. Right, listen. So I feel like I kind of did the right thing. I'll say there were some right things in the fact of still like staying with your parents, which is that you're not, your discovery of self is not happening like at the same time. I'll say this. I think when it comes to like socially talking to people and socially communicating with people, I think that I was slightly off, and I can say that without any sort of hesitation. And I think that being with my parents, even though I would have definitely preferred to have been out sooner, really kind of helped as far as me having people that have had some life experience to bounce off of, but have them like close by. And it doesn't work for everybody. I mean, you're always going to have some kind of rift or anything like that, and everybody's parental situation is very different.
I was just about to say, because I live in a pretty toxic parental situation.
Yes, that's true.
And
so I wanted to bring that up.
It's definitely interesting. It's interesting because I know some people that lived with their parents for a very long time, and it's such a healthy situation. They don't ever want to leave.
Yeah.
Because they're never like forced into that mindset.
Yeah.
But then there's like my situation where it's almost like a stressful all the time, and you're just sitting in your stress. Yeah. And it's a different type of life lesson though, because I feel like I'm stronger now because of it.
Yeah, because I will say this.
Take as much shit.
And you get stronger too because, it's wild. I think we talked about this earlier today. I think even though like I have a pretty great relationship with my parents, there are times when things just get rough, but I think part of the reason why I tried to avoid stress and didn't move on, and I realized that there's like this weight that's been lifted slightly, is the fact that like I spread myself really thin. And I think that that's something as you get older you start to do when you're an adult and you're living with your parents. You start to do all these things because you don't have your own space to do the things that like you want to do. And you have to outsource for all of those things. You have to go to a friend's house. You have to go to this place. Oh, we got to meet up at this place.
Yeah,
oh,
like a significant other's house or something.
Yeah, you know, and like, I mean, Lord knows, I mean, I'm lucky, but, you know, and I'll say this, I'm lucky, but some people can't even, you know, get no booty where they live.
Facts.
And
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A cannot get any booty where she lives. And that's fine. You know, it's not
I mean,
fine.
it's kind of cool because I don't really like people in my space anyway. Like,
Yeah.
my space is my tranquility.
But I also feel like, it's funny, like, so my girlfriend's name is Chris. And they don't know that, but we know that. And I have to introduce her. And it's funny because the first thing that we talked about when we were looking at apartments was like, oh my God, we need to have a space where we can host people. I don't know why, but it's like, it's just my nature as a Leo, I guess, is to basically be like, hey, like, I want to have, like, you know, 20 of my friends over, like, at my place and, like, you know, blast Isaiah Rashad. And I mean, I'm a blast. You won't hear Isaiah Rashad. It's going to be on the block. I'm just letting everybody know that if you're from Philly and you're watching this or anywhere, you're going to hear our house. You might. I might get a noise complaint. That's all right. That's fine. But people are going to be shaking their ass in the house. The luck is there's nobody in the downstairs. So the whole building is like to us. Yeah. So I will have people shaking ass and bass bouncing for a good period of time until somebody moves in, unless I know them, because then we're still going to be shaking ass.
I feel like you're going to get tired of that really fast.
No, I'm already
house party and somebody's going to mess up your shit and you're like,
I'm already tired of it already.
I was going to say,
I
don't think
like,
that's
I'm more of like a chill person, but there will be a crazy house. There will be at least like one crazy house party.
Drew's like, okay, so Drew's that person at the big ass rager where everybody's going nuts, and Drew's just like that guy like that's stoned on the couch, not moving.
That's not true.
Yeah, like talking or singing or like doing something like
okay,
creative.
She's also saying all this stuff, and like we've like, have we like partied really together? I don't think we really partied together. Like
not
that.
really.
Like not really. Like not okay. Here's what Danielle doesn't know about me, and I'm going to be transparent. And if you're watching this and you know me, you know damn well how this goes. Depending on the chemistry of everybody that's around, I can either pull a father figure type of thing where I'm standing with a turtleneck with a glass of scotch, expensive scotch. I'm just gonna say really expensive scotch because I'm a bougie ass Leo. And I'll be the one that's sitting there and go, these people are acting completely ridiculous. Or I can go out and get really drunk by myself and then meet up with people who I know, and the energy can just be so right that I'll be up with you until 6 o'clock in the morning, and we will do everything under the sun that involves to make the night the littest night that it can ever be. Case in point, I once went, the Jersey Shore has like a big music festival that they do in like Asbury Park. It's called See Here Now. And, you know, I went out there one time just to kind of see some of my friends perform. What?
Okay, just if anybody doesn't know this, he is a musician and he has bomb-ass music on everything on every
Spotify.
platform.
It is on Spotify, it is on Apple Music. It is, you can listen to it. He
did just record some new music too, and I don't know when that's coming out. I don't know if you can spoil it.
But we're working on it. You know, when you get a place, you kind of got to be like.
So definitely go check that out because he does have bomb ass music.
But it's like, so I went out there to see a couple friends, and did I ever tell you about this night?
Probably not.
This is the most like Judd Apatow, like Seth Rogen movie night that I've ever had.
I can only imagine.
It was like we went to like a I went out to Asbury Park. I went there because they were doing this festival, See Here Now, and I was trying to Uber drive because I don't know if anybody. I like to drive Uber because I think for some reason it gives me some sort of tranquility to drive around. So I'm driving around and there were barely any fares because everybody was still listening to music. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to get out the car and I'm going to go get something to eat and I'm going to go get something to drink. So I stop at a bar at the Asbury Park Yacht Club. Shout out to them. They're on the boardwalk. And I didn't eat anything, but I definitely drank some stuff. And I was like, oh no, I'm really, really drunk. So I then walk. If anybody knows this, Asbury set up where there's like the town, and then there's like a kind of a long walk. It's like about a 15-minute walk, and then there is the beach. I walked because I'm a responsible person. Don't drink and drive. I walked from the Asbury Yacht Club to Bond Street Bar, which is like all the way by Main Street, which is at least like a 25-minute long walk. Didn't really sober up that much. Then I bumped into like 4 of my friends, and we got on scooters, and we went back to the yacht club. And when we parked the scooters, we looked down, and there were 2 blunts that were literally like underneath of us.
That's
that
gross.
Someone had dropped. They were not done. They were not. They hadn't been used.
It's on the ground.
They were fresh.
I mean, maybe I just don't.
God was telling us something, and what He told us is go forth and smoke this thing which I have made upon this earth for your recreation.
Oh my God.
And then we walked further down the line. Now, I'm not a partaker in this. We got further down the line, and it was a dime bag of Coke on the ground. And I was like,
insane.
Who is dropping their drugs?
Somebody that's really fucking high.
Somebody that's really fucked up is dropping their drugs in Asbury Park right now. And I don't know if I should call them and tell them, like, hey, like, what's going on? Mind you, I'm drunk, so I might, these are my remembering of the night, because I eventually did black out. And then went back to the yacht club. It was like super packed. Shout out to Remember Jones. Their horn section was there, and they were playing the horns while the DJ was playing like bomb ass music. And like I was like standing with them, and I was like drinking, and I was with my friend Mac and my boy Jake, and we were all there. Shout out to all the people out there that gave cameos and showed love to everybody. But we had the greatest time. And we went back to Mac's house. She has this great house in Ocean County that we went back to after we sobered up a little bit. We were responsible, so we drove their house, and then we basically watched Malignant, which is the craziest movie I've ever seen, and got more drunk off of some wine that I remember I bought while I was drunk at the yacht club. So it's hit or miss. You know what I mean? It's like some nights I want to get crazy, and then other nights I want to be,
which both are fine.
Yeah,
and all that to say is like throughout these ages, like we're supposed to experiment. We're supposed to do things that we want to do and not have any judgment and not feel like we're druggies or like something or a label because we do it.
You can temporarily feel like a druggie. Don't do it for a very long time. I would say don't. If it's longer than like a night, then don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Did I mention don't do it?
Don't do drugs, kids. We definitely don't advocate for that. We're just saying that
we are still kids.
Live life, and we are still kids, and we're still learning.
We are still kids. I mean, it's kind of funny. We used to always say making music. I keep fondling this glass. And
you really do.
Really stop fondling this glass.
ASMR.
Hi. So Danielle likes she likes to kind of say that I definitely have like some form of ADHD, which I definitely feel like I do. I haven't gotten checked out yet. I'm actually supposed to go and get checked out. One of my friends, shout out to Harry Heist, that's my boy. He actually like introduced me to the site and everything. Like they can kind of like like see, like they give you like a test. You can basically see, like you have to pay for it. I think it's like $90 or something like that. But it's like a test where they like screen you and they scan you and they see like what's going on, and it's like done online or something like that. And then like they can help you cope with that thing. So I think that's me bouncing my shit around. Like
yeah, I mean, you could be talking to Drew about work, and then just like he just did now, like 5 seconds later he'll go into like this huge elaborate story, and it's like it always correlates at the end, but it just like is this huge roundabout.
Oh yeah, the point is I always feel like I tell stories like comedians tell stories, which is they just get more ridiculous as they go along, and people think that it's bull crap, but it's like people think it's bullshit, but it's literally not me bullshitting. It's like I'm sitting there, I'm like, it happened. Like it was there. Like it happened.
Facts.
I was in the cut. I was there. I saw it. I seen it. It literally happens all the time. That's all the time. But this is weird too, because it's like, I feel like, do you ever feel like when you're like recording or you're like on camera or something like that, your voice goes into like a total, like your whole your persona kind of like goes into like a professional.
I mean, I kind of feel like that when I take a big hiatus away from like filming or being in front of the camera. You definitely like lose your camera comfortability for sure.
Oh yeah, because I feel like my Scorpio moon is coming out right now, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm wearing this turtleneck and this beanie. Yeah. You know,
okay, 2022 lingo.
I'm super like, yeah, you know, I'm here. We up in here. You know, we're pushing P's on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
This is the Pushing P. This is a segment called Pushing P. This is where I don't know, I'm just making it up. Yeah, this is the Pushing P segment of the We Are Still Kids podcast. Part of the show where I just talk about the fact that right now I just have my sex phone voice on right now. That's why I feel like this is my sex phone voice right now.
Yeah, I feel like people are gonna comment about how like deep and like sexual
like,
your
voice. Oh my god,
is.
why is his voice
sounds like you just woke up
so sexual? Why does he sound like that? I've never heard you sound like that before.
So I just want to take the time to just now to tell everybody and let everybody know. Comment down below anything you guys want us to talk about, any comments or like concerns you have in your life, or like
if you're concerned,
any crazy stories you have, because we love to share crazy stories. Like crazy stories of growing up. Like, you know, it helps everybody, and it also can, you know, spread some awareness of certain situations.
Oh yeah, like
because I feel like we both have gone through so much in our lives.
Oh yeah, young adulthood and late 20s adulthood has been so fun,
so hard.
Oh,
let's be real.
I mean, I was being sarcastic. I just want everybody to know that. Yeah,
it's been hard, and it's not hard. Sunshine and rainbows. It's not like people think you graduate from college, you automatically get a job, and it's like everything goes according to plan, and it absolutely doesn't. Like,
and for us who didn't graduate from college,
I graduated from college.
She graduated from college. I did not graduate from college because I had this beautiful, beautiful drink called depression. I would say that people, you know, I think a lot of people underestimate what you can do
without a college degree.
Without a college degree.
I don't even use my college degree, and I'm $42,000 in debt.
So many people who are my friends don't use
and I have, degree. And it's so frustrating because I feel like I did everything right? Like I did everything from the book. I came out of high school, I graduated with like honors, like a 3.9 GPA or something crazy like that.
She was so cute walking around with her books all the time. She was like she used to smile at everybody. Hey.
Anyway, I graduated from high school. I got a scholarship for softball. I was a Division I athlete. I did well in school, and then I graduated from college, and that with a STEM degree at that. And now I am STEM jobless. I have no STEM degree or STEM job.
She has no stems to any job.
No. Well, I have a job, but
no stems to any job that have to do with STEM.
It's definitely not in science. Like, it's just crazy how you know, play your part and you do everything that everybody else tells you to do, and it's like you don't end up where you need to be. So obviously, I wasn't taking the road that I needed to take. I took the road everybody else wanted me to take.
But also, too, at the same time, I think a lot of people underestimate the fact that when you have a college degree, most jobs aren't going to look at your college degree and go, okay, like this is the only thing that you could be here for. A college degree, we're not gonna diss on college degrees like crazy, like, you know what I mean?
It's a great face.
Oh, we're on. Okay.
Yeah, we are. Sorry. We took a little bit of a break, but I thought we could maybe talk about the process of, you know, starting to move out of your parents' house and how difficult that shit is right now, especially with the economy, COVID. Oh my God, your parents' opinions and the reactions and like the emotions that come into it. Because I feel like as a parent, when your kid lives with you for so long, not that it's manifesting like maliciously, but I feel like they
get tired.
They no.
They get.
But they come out with a lot of emotions at you.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost like they don't want to admit it's because they don't want you to leave.
Oh yeah, and can I also say this? Like, I'm gonna let everybody know I'm a very bougie guy, and my girlfriend is also a very bougie person. Not we're very bougie, but we want what we want.
I feel like you're not that bougie, but I keep
not that bougie. But I wanted what I wanted, and one of the things that we wanted to get a house. We always said we didn't want to rent, we wanted to get a house. But then everything with COVID happened. I mean, you have a lot of jobs aren't not every job is paying great enough for you to be able to even leave your house. There's no advancement really because there's all these people that are in positions and positions well beyond when they should be there. Because they got to keep their brains working and so on and so forth, to each their own on that. And it's kind of weird getting to this point because we haven't moved in yet. We're moving in on March 1st. But getting to this point is weird because you kind of do this thing where you think it's going to take a long time, but it actually happens really freaking quickly. But what makes it so long is the process of like the looking,
I should say it happened pretty quickly though because you were two people and two incomes.
Well, I'll say this. I think it also happened quickly because I think I'd always wanted to. I'll tell you this. If I was not with my girlfriend, I would have moved out at this point in time. Anyway, but I will say that I always thought that like the signing and the approval and like all that kind of stuff took a long time.
Yeah. So like if anybody doesn't know, when you go see an apartment, right, you go and you tour it and you have to apply and they like look at your credit score and all of that bullshit and like your income and all of that bullshit.
All the things that basically tell you no.
Exactly. And then like you get a bunch of no's before you finally say yes. Drew just got really, really lucky. He got in and he got approved like this.
Yes.
So that's not always the case.
Right.
But...
And I just also want to say this. I, like a lot of people, do not have the greatest credit score. And I will admit that right here, right now. That's my transparency call. I do not have the greatest credit score. It's not the worst. There is definitely a worse number that it could be at.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Like for a generation, our generation doesn't have good credit scores.
Yeah.
Like our parents did a horrible job of explaining that why we needed it. And then like I also had people use my credit when I was younger. So.
I got a little lucky, I will say. My parents are on the younger side of like things. So like they had, credit issues and, for my whole life, even though like I said, my credit's not terrible, but it could be better. They stressed a lot about how it is. I didn't exactly know, I didn't get a full course on how it worked, but I did get a stressing of how important it was. And I would say that you also have to be willing to take a chance on going someplace new. My girlfriend and I, we love to travel and we wanted to go someplace new. So, instead of, trying to move, we always, my girlfriend has always wanted to live in New York City. It's really expensive to live in New York City. You can't really get anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't really get anything.
You live in a shoebox for like $3,000.
Like you see this room, this is your apartment.
This is
maybe even smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And both my siblings, who I'm the oldest, they're the younger, but they had both moved out before me. Mostly because they're like, my sister goes to school. She goes to school in New York. My brother, he doesn't have a job right now. He's unemployed right now. But it made it a little easier for them because they kind of have flexibility. I work at a local hospital in Freehold. And so I wanted to make sure that I had all the connections and everything that I had and then, a good resume under my belt for working. And I just decided, okay, like I'm going to take a chance. Like I said, I drive Uber. I didn't mind having a commute. And I'd always wanted to live in Philadelphia. So we took a chance. We said, okay, why don't we look? We went from looking at maybe like one apartment like every like week in New Jersey or in North Jersey to then looking at like I think in one day we looked at like 8 apartments like in Philadelphia, because there's a lot of change that's happening in like that North Philly area. Not all for the good, just letting people know that. But it is happening there.
Yeah, I mean, where we live in the tri-state area is extremely fucking expensive no matter where you go. But Pennsylvania is exponentially cheaper.
Yes.
And it has a lot more variety of like what you want. But my situation is a little bit different because I'm a single person. So like I only have a single income. And in New Jersey, it's impossible to live off of a single income. I think
I've seen incredibly impossible.
I've seen hundreds of apartments. I've talked to multiple realtors, try to get a house, try to get a mortgage loan. I'm single and I only have an hourly job. So it's very frustrating, and that whole situation is very frustrating. So all this to say, like I think that you guys can learn from our situations and prepare yourselves a lot younger.
But also I'm going to tell you this. Do not get anything when it comes to wanting to live somewhere with somebody who you are iffy on living with. Because that was always my thing. Like, my thing is like, you know, my parents would always say, oh, why don't you get a roommate? Or why don't you do that? Right. And like, I didn't want to do that.
People say that to me all the time. And I'm like, no.
Well, because one, like, here's the thing. Like, people have changes that happen in their lives. And like we said, like, we condone non-malicious selfishness here at We Are Still Kids. And sometimes with non-malicious
non-self-destructive behavior.
Right. They're non-self-destructive, but at least like have some
educational behavior.
Worth, right? Educated selfishness. That's what we'll call it. And I didn't want to be in a household with somebody who they might go, oh, you know what? I'm going to study abroad. Or, oh, you know what? I'm leaving my job and I don't have a job. And COVID is a case in point. I mean, right now, you know, people are calling it the Great Resignation. Like, there's so many like jobs out there. Nobody wants to work because we don't supply health benefits for people. We don't supply.
Also, on the positive note, like, people don't want to work because they saw how amazing it was to have time with their families. Be at home, actually have a mental break and a mental capacity to do things that they love.
I will say I'm burnt out. Like, I'm not burnt out. Like, I'm luckily, like, I've refused to be, but I'm been very close to being burnt out. And you'll show you the text messages. But
to get in his ass a little bit.
Yeah, like, you know, like literally, like, I'm just like, oh my God, like, fuck me, like, kill me, please. Every morning. And she's just like, I'll text my girlfriend, I tell her, she's like, listen, like, please just like take me out with a gun. I have like a whole OnlyFans plan. I'm literally not even kidding with you.
He really does. He has a whole name too.
I got a whole name.
Tell him.
I'm not gonna
tell them.
We'll tell that on a different podcast.
No, tell them.
No, we have to keep them here, you know, waiting for like some, you know, they have to be like, we'll figure out this name.
It is so funny.
It is kind of funny. And
honestly, it's the best thing in the world. So you might as well
technically like Danielle came up with it, technically in a way, right?
I think we both did technically.
Okay, it was a misunderstanding. Because, well, we'll talk about things like Tinder and Hinge and Danielle being a single, you know, woman.
Yeah, I'm going to be vulnerably open with my single life because it sucks. And dating in 2022 is absolutely atrocious.
But I will say this, for us that are not, it's kind of fun to watch. But
it's so awful.
It's so awful.
Oh my God, every time I'm on the phone, him and Christy are so cute. He's like, I love you, I'll be home, and then we can order food, and we can cuddle.
I always give her like a sexy makeout too, like before I leave.
And I'm like, ugh, but you're so cute. You guys are so cute. But like,
I do like the slight little like Christy will be working, and I do the slight little light choke with the, you know what I mean? Like, y'all know what I mean. You know exactly.
You're ridiculous.
And I walk away, and then I turn around and I look, and she's giving me that like kind of look.
She's gonna be so mad at you for doing this.
Oh, she's fine. But I talk about this shit all the time, like in person too, like all the time.
Oh, I know you do.
But it's like, yeah, I'm very open about my life. But yeah, like, I mean, like, don't get in a part with somebody who you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be you know, and
especially if you haven't like gone to college and lived with people, you really don't understand that.
Or if you haven't, because like even with,
or you just don't know yourself either.
Yeah, or even too, like, listen, like, I'm from a family of 5. Like, I've lived in a small space with a family of 5 for a very long time. I will tell you something right now. you will punch people. I mean, you will cunt punt people. It is that bad.
I don't like that word. Don't say that word.
You will. It will happen. It will happen.
That's a mean word.
It is a mean word, but it will happen. Actually, it's weird. It's mean in America.
I'm pretty sure you've never done any of those things, but it's okay.
Cunt punch somebody?
Yes.
No, that's rude. I don't condone hitting a woman.
So then why would you say that?
Because it's first of all, actually, shout out to my sister. That's her thing.
Okay, Rachel.
Yes. But like you will get frustrated at people. You have to know like what personalities that you're willing to be with, whether it's your friends, whether it's somebody who you're dating. I will say this: I'm lucky. I've known Christy for almost 10 years. She has stuck with me. I don't know why. No joking. I know why. It's that makeout. But it's important to know. It's important to know.
Slight selfless plug in there.
It's like I'm a great kisser. Christy, you know that. No, it's important to sort of know it's important to know like who you're going to be bunking with. Mm-hmm. And it's important to know that that person's going to be committed to that thing. Because in the end of the day, it's a business decision.
Yeah. And
you don't want to, just like we are still kids, it's a business decision.
Right. I think people forget about that. They just like, ooh, I'm going to ruin my best friend. But then they don't realize that they have to pay bills and utilities and split them. And when somebody doesn't have it, it becomes a fight. And it becomes a more like in-depth relationship because you now have to like focus on finances, not just having fun with your best friend all the time.
Oh, yeah. Like I'll tell you, for example, like, I mean, I have a friend who he moved to Barnegat. And like he moved in with his friend, and then his friend, she got a boyfriend, and she immediately moved in with that boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And like he couldn't finance to like have that whole place like by himself.
Right.
And even though like he had his girlfriend, like she wasn't prepared to like move in with him. They'd only been together for like a short period amount of time. So
things happen.
Things happen. Change. And I just want to say that there's nothing wrong with taking a step back. Like if anything were to happen in this apartment, right?
I definitely did. Me and my ex-boyfriend, we lived in an apartment, and it was a very short period of time. There was a situation where we had to leave, and we got out of our lease early, and we had to move back in with his parents. And then we were rocky, and I moved into a different place. He moved into a different place and bounced around from there. So yeah, it's okay to move back and reassess where your life is going, reassess what you feel and how you feel.
The important thing in life to do is to try. And that's really what this all comes down to. Like, you always want to try. That being said, you also have to know what you want. And there's nothing in life that you should ever settle for less for. We specifically wanted things that we wanted in our apartment. And like, we were like, this is what we want.
Also, I feel like...
And you got to compromise, too.
Learn from us, because I feel like I still... This is so bad. I still don't really know what I want in life. Like I go day by day, and that's something that works better for me and my mental health. I feel like for a long time, I was a Division I athlete. I had my days planned out for me for months in advance, my entire life. So once that ended abruptly, and nobody ever really gave me that exit counseling. You don't have like
that structure kind of thing.
Exactly. And I was like, I had no idea who I was.
And that happens to a lot of people who go to college.
Oh my God,
too,
it was
because
awful.
my girlfriend went through that.
Yeah.
She literally left college, and we were like, okay, and now you have to go and get a job. And it was literally like me and like her parents, like literally sitting there and be like, okay, and now you get a job. And she was like, but what? But I'm not doing what I need. Shouldn't I be doing something that makes a difference? It's like, no, you'll get there.
Right.
Like, but you gotta go through trial and error. Like that, like when that structure goes away, it's hard.
It's hard because but I don't think people really realize how hard it is mentally.
Yeah.
And you go through a depression a little bit, and you go through like a realization of, okay, now who the fuck am I? Because this accompanied my entire persona of who I was for so long. And if you don't have a good structure at home, trying to like really assess who you are before all of that happens, then you lose yourself very, very easily. It took me like 5-6 years. I'm still really reinventing myself. I'm still getting back into who I was. I was in a crazy roller coaster of a relationship for 4 years, but
that I got to watch.
You weren't even in the picture.
For a little bit. I got to sit there and be like,
I mean, you probably watched from afar, but
I did watch from afar.
In those points we were not talking, we were friends, but
I was like,
so It took a lot, and I don't think you're ever really found yourself. I think you're still always changing and assessing who you are.
I'm from the standpoint of like when you make a with a life, it's very important to have that openness. When you make a business decision, though, definitely like I always say like kind of know, especially with apartments, because people will try to realtors and stuff like that will really try to like get you to like do stuff that like you just can't do. Like,
well, they want the money.
They really want the money, and like there's nothing wrong with asking them questions. Like we asked some questions. We asked some questions involving my credit and her credit. She has great credit. My credit, like I said, it's not bad, but it's okay. And we asked them those questions. We're very open about those things. We're open about our incomes. We've been open about our incomes. We've really talked. We had to have that transparency, and it's important in assessing those things. You probably kind of know a little bit too. You have to really communicate with that person. If it's a person who you definitely trust, that it's like what you want, and you have to talk about what it is that you both want. I'll tell you this: I wanted to move to Philadelphia. My girlfriend did not want to move to Philadelphia at first. She was like, this is her exact words. She said that it reminded her of Ticonderoga pencils, which makes no sense because they're made in California. I still don't get it. If someone can please comment below and tell us what kind of sense that would even make.
I'm confused.
I don't get it either.
The city of Philadelphia made her think of pencils.
Pencils.
The yellow pencils that you used in like second grade.
They're great pencils, though. That's the thing. It's like, why would you not want a Ticonderoga pencil?
Yeah, they're like the best pencils
ever.
They have the
and
they already come
eraser.
pointed.
Yeah, they come pointy and they got the best eraser. It makes no sense.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either. But I was like, well, why don't we just look?
Maybe because she associates Philadelphia at school because we had to learn about like all the history there.
I guess
that's the only connection.
But that's because that's not Philly's fault. It was the original capital of the United States before Washington D.C.
Okay, history.
Yeah, it has the first business school. It's got the first hospital.
Drew didn't go to college, but he's low key smarter than everybody.
That's not true.
That is very true.
I'm just myself.
Extremely smart.
I'm just myself.
Extremely.
Oh, you flatter me. But yeah, like we wanted something specific. We were like, okay, let me go. So we went out there, and we looked at like I said, we looked at like 8 apartments, like eight places, and they were all gorgeous. They were all really nice, but you really have to pay attention to the money. You really have to pay attention to like the fees, like the place we have right now, like it's expensive to like have a pet. We want to get one, but it's expensive to have a pet there. And it's a one-time flat fee, which isn't terrible.
Like $350.
It's a little more than that. For a dog, it's a little more than that. It's like $500 for a dog.
That's a lot.
But it is a flat rate fee.
Yeah, but you live in a city, dude.
Right. It's like
people have dogs in cities, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But like it's just a lot more work.
Yeah.
You literally have to walk the dog every time it has to go to the bathroom. It's a lot.
You can't just shove them upstairs on the rooftop.
I'm selfish, but I just would like to open the door and let it fuck out when it wants to go out.
And that's where that's what people
have
to know what they want. Like that's important. Like if I we want to have a house at one point in time.
You look like a cat dude, to be honest with you.
So weird enough.
I don't know what a cat dude looks like, but if I could describe a cat dude, you would be it.
That's what I am. I'm Catman.
You should just come in like a black leather suit next week. With some ears.
Yes. That's my Halloween costume.
That's his OnlyFans costume.
That's my no. We can't tell them what the name is yet. That's the second OnlyFans. That's the backup OnlyFans name. It's Catman. But yeah, like we want to get a house at one point in time. There's even places in the city that they still have like great backyards. Like I'm really surprised. Like
Philly's a weird place. So if you've never been to Philly, it's like literally so many sections of Philly, and like there are suburban towns of Philly,
and there's parts where the city just
ends
too, which is weird. Like you ever notice, like you'll drive to the corner, it'll be like woods.
I used to play softball in Philly. Yes, it's like that, and for a Philly team, and all of these people that I used to play with all had like the greatest accents. I think Pennsylvania accents are the best things in the entire world.
They like it.
They say bagel instead of bagel.
Hoagie.
Yeah.
It's a nice hoagie.
It's like O, like they accentuate the O's.
Go and get the water.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
So, but anyway, yeah. So it's sectioned out into like different sections, and you could have literally a suburban town in the middle of like a big city. It's like the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
But
it's so weird. It's so bizarre too, because it's like
I learned about it actually in planning class.
Really?
Yeah, in school. So planning is like how cities are planned out, and like they're like how they're literally made for a reason, like around certain things and
the design
resources.
of them and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're really good at this graphic design, by the way. There's the plug, by the way, for the
It's
moment.
a little wrinkly. Don't look
she
at that.
made all the stuff on the cups and everything.
You said that already.
I'm saying it again because they need to know. Because like, listen, all stems lead to graphic design by Danielle Button.
Yep.
Boom, tied together. She's gonna design cities. So back to that over here.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I took a planning class and I learned all about how like cities are planned, and it's so crazy how intricate it is. But like when you look at a city, it just looks like a giant blob of everything just Monopoly pieced together. But it's really not. It's actually planned out pretty intently.
And Philly's also like I would say it's definitely a smaller city than like a New York City. So you're not gonna like, you can get to like one part of Philly. Like,
I mean, it has a lot of European influence. That's why.
Yeah, you can go to like the west side of Philly. You could be like all the way in like Fishtown, which is like, you know, all the way to the east and like the north in like 11
Well,
minutes.
it was because it had to be small enough for people to walk all the way home for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why.
Why?
Boston's that way too. Like also. Like
I've never been to Boston.
It's very small.
I want to go to Boston so bad.
It's such
one of my favorite YouTubers is from there.
We're gonna have to do a We Are Still Kids podcast like episode in Boston.
That'd be pretty dope. A traveling podcast.
A traveling podcast.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yes,
Let us know if you want to see that.
Yeah, would you want us to travel like to like I don't know where we would go, to be honest with you.
New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, Delaware,
just go all over.
Virginia Beach,
well,
DC.
She's trying to plan a tour, everybody. So in order to have tours, we have to have sponsors.
Manifest.
Well, in order to have tours, you gotta have sponsors. In order to have sponsors, we have to have loyal listeners. So you have to definitely like and subscribe. Yes, and she's trying to get the core water plug, which I do like the core water plug.
Core water is elite.
More core water, actually.
It's elite. It's core if you're out there.
Listen to it. That went down kind of rough because I swallowed that like in the wrong.
But anyway, do you have any closing statements for our viewers today, or listeners too?
Well, we have one more thing we have to do. We have to go through your Hinge and your Tinder.
My Hinge and my Tinder. All right.
So what we really want to do, so as we discussed, Danielle Button is a single bachelorette. And we are, going to be doing a thing every once in a while where essentially we, talk about, we're going to go through Danielle's like Tinder.
and Hinge. Well, I don't have Tinder right now. Just Hinge.
Okay.
Just Hinge.
One of those things, and we're
going to give some advice to these men because they need help.
Is it really that bad?
I mean, this one is pretty bad.
All right, guys. Here's the thing. Like, we're not going to be incredibly malicious about the situation, but all I'm going to say is I have a lot of friends out here, and I just want to say that not just for men, but for everybody. Y'all need to step your game up, guys. Come on now. You gotta get a little more. You gotta put a little more energy into the situation, y'all.
Look, it's hard because I feel like people on these dating apps aren't genuine, and I don't know if that's because they're not genuine in person, or they feel that they have to be funnier or like quirkier than they
probably
are.
Feel like they have to make a good first impression. We definitely all get that. I don't know how to segue that into, because some of the first impression though is just like, So what kind of stuff happens to you on your Hinge?
Me and my friends always talk about this because it's like
women always have great internet dating stories, by the way.
It's hard because everybody's different, right? Like, I am not like your type A girl. Like, I love, Pokemon and like Harry Potter, and like I am like a closet nerd, and I'm also like a homebody, so I'm very different. So I am pretty accepting of a lot of things.
She's the kind of girl you want to bring home to your man cave.
That sounded so wrong. It sounded so wrong.
Not that man cave.
Not even your mom, like your man cave?
Your man cave.
I'm only good for the man cave?
No, she's the kind of girl you know, like I feel like a lot of guys would be embarrassed to bring like, you know, their girl to like, you know, because people will be like, you know, like some guys, they'll be like, oh, you can't come with us. It's like homies only or like shit like that. Yeah. It's like, oh, she's the kind of girl, listen, Danielle's the kind of girl who can chill with you and your homies and you won't feel like you are dividing your time in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable.
I appreciate that.
That's what I will say. That's my compliment of
I try to always bring that energy.
That's my
I try to be accepting of all people, right? I give people the benefit of the doubt. But on Hinge, it's just so hard sometimes. I'm going to put the picture on the screen. I'm going to cover up his real name. But I'm going to put the picture up there
you should
because
maybe cover up his face.
So if all the listeners want to head over to YouTube to see this picture, you can. Yes. It also, so our link would be on our Instagram and all of that. But yes. This person, you know, on Hinge, you like a picture and you can like comment and leave a comment before like I see it. This person said, if you were a dinosaur, you'd be a Gorgeosaurus Rex. Smiley face. I don't think I laughed nearly as hard as I did when I read that. I've never actually laughed that hard. You also, I think there's a like Tums on the bed too, though, or something like that. Yeah, like right? this person's picture. I'll blur out his face because I really am not trying to be malicious or like blow up his spot. Obviously, I'll never see him again because I X'd it out, obviously. But like, he has like a picture in a hotel room, and like, there's Tums behind him. There's like a bag of medicine to the other side, and I'm like, okay,
it looks
maybe
like
you're just being open.
It definitely looks like a hotel room, and it looks like it's one of those pictures that like you take like when you're really feeling yourself before you go to like your friend's wedding.
Facts. Like
he was like, oh, I haven't worn a suit in a long time. I need to take this selfie.
But like you'd think you'd go into these dating apps and people would have like pictures of like their personality pictures, like pictures with their dog, or like of them on their favorite vacation, or
that was his favorite vacation.
I guess.
Wait, she told me not to be mean.
So. I guess.
Sometimes your friend's wedding is your
Drew being really nice right now because when I showed him this picture, it was not as nice. But
that is not true. I was appropriate. What I said was this. I said, what the fuck is that? And I said, what the fuck is that? In the sense of like, can we just get a simple hey? Like, you know what's crazy?
Some people will argue that hey doesn't work, and I agree with that.
Here's the thing. Hey works. Here's the thing. I think sometimes what internet dating has done is for some people it's like a quick thing. You know what I mean? And I'm saying this because my cousin found the love of his life, the woman who he's married to, on Tinder. Mm-hmm. Found her on Tinder. She was everything he wanted. He married her. Shout out to my cousin. Shout out to Simone. You guys are beautiful. But I also feel like you should like somebody on a dating app. If you like somebody on a dating app, you should... My thing that I always used to do before Chris and I started dating is I would try very hard to maybe get that person to come off that dating app. Because I always felt like it was very intimidating almost in a way to like only message a person. There was almost like a window of time to be on the dating app.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's meant to be deleted. Like, that's the problem. I feel like most of these men have been on this dating app so long is because they'll find a girl, they'll hook up with her, and then they'll just keep finding girls because they want like these hookups. Yeah. Or they're like this guy where he's like literally doesn't know how to talk to women and he's struggling.
Or it'll be like, or like in my case scenario, right, which is kind of weird, like you'll talk to like a girl, right, and then like I remember like I used to like hit up, you know, like a girl, say hello, you know what I mean? And like say something like kind of funny or something like that, right? Not Gorgeosaurus Rex. I never said anything like that.
Now I can't think of anything but like you have bubble guts while you're taking this photo.
Yeah, Jurassic.
Like you have Tums behind
Jurassic Hinge.
Jurassic.
Like, you know.
Or you'll get the men that literally only take pictures of their muscles, and it's like, dude, if you wanted to marry a weight, like go do that. Like I don't. You want nothing to do with me. You just want somebody to tell you that you have nice muscles. He doesn't want to
have to have gym equipment. What he wants to do is he wants to be able to bench press you.
Yeah, nah. Like,
you want to get bench pressed by me?
Yeah, no. Like,
is that what you want?
That's like the fastest way to say I don't have any personality. Like,
yeah. I mean, I guess my thing is like, I think what everybody needs to do, right, is I think for a period of time when you date, try dating without a dating app. Like, I know.
Facts. I love like genuine connections.
It's ass backwards.
It's hard nowadays though because of COVID, but like, yeah, I like meeting people in work, like people that come into my work or like people that I work with, obviously not like in the same department. I don't like that. Don't do that.
She doesn't like the shit where she eats everybody. So no, if you work in her department, you don't have a chance.
No, you don't.
Unless it's, you got yourself a really, really nice.
I like to use genuine connection. I feel like also doing it behind a screen, you can't feel the vibe of the room. You can't understand how they actually portray their words and talk to you. Like genuine connection is so important in dating, and it's like it's taken away all of that genuine connection that you get from just genuinely meeting somebody in face to face.
Yeah,
and also like confidence too, because the more you sit behind a phone and do it, the less likely you're going to do it in real life, because you're not going to be confident enough to stand up and go say, "Hey, I think you're cute."
And there's a balance like to it, like you can't. You just can't, like, you have to realize that, like, how you talk, you need to be genuine with how you talk to that person on the dating app. You have to make sure it is how you actually speak. Because it's very easy to, like, I know a lot of people like to say that they can feel how somebody sounds and all that kind of stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, people can say that they can feel how people sound on, like, when they text or, like, something like that. And it's like, I don't really believe that. Like, the truth is, like, you really can't. You're really going by, like, what you, like, believe that person's threshold.
Yeah, you bring your own emotions and opinions.
Yeah, and so, like, the way that I see it is, like, you have to be on a dating app, you have to be completely honest with, like, who you are, even more so than you are, like, in person, you know?
Just for the record, I respect guys that if they just want to fuck, say that. If you want to date, say that. Be out and open about your intentions and what you want right from the get-go, because I respect that more than somebody that's gonna.
And the truth is, gentlemen, most women are fine with if you just are completely honest. Yeah, you might get denied, and denial is part of this game. It's fine. But just be honest and just be like, okay, yeah, listen, I'm here for some ass. Nothing wrong. I mean, don't say it that way. Like, I mean, I guess if you got game like that, maybe you can say it that way. But I don't know if you really want to say it that way. But I mean, like, yeah, like, it's like, listen, like,
stop the voice, dude.
I'm here for what? I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's like, I'm here.
I don't think you can say that word.
For vagina?
No, you didn't say that word.
Oh, I said pussy.
Yeah, you did.
That's weird. I can say fuck, but I can't say pussy.
I don't know.
We're gonna blank out this thing. People don't know. Yeah, like, I think, like, yeah, you have to just be real. Just stop trying to be like, yo, like, hey, I think you're so beautiful. Like, nah, just be like, yo, listen, I'm trying to get some ass. What? I'm just saying.
Facts.
Just like,
no, for real. Like, me and my best friends talk about this all the time, especially, like, this can go on to a different subject. We'll talk about it in a different day, but, like, women are allowed to sleep around too. Like, they're allowed to go and have casual sex, and a lot of people hate that idea, and a lot of men will judge women instantly.
And a lot of women, like, agree with you. They want casual sex just as much as you want casual sex.
Because at this age, especially at 27 years old, like, I have so much peace that, like, a lot of men nowadays that I meet are just genuinely going to ruin my peace. So if I could just have something casual with you and then keep it moving, keep it pushing, and just go my merry way and be in my own peace, I would much rather that. And then
you gotta be good.
But
the whole point is you want to come back for sex.
Let me finish that thought. When the right person comes along, obviously, like, you settle down and you're loyal, like, and it just depends on what type of personality you have or who you are. But there's nothing wrong with casual sex for women at all. It's like a double standard men put on women all the fucking time.
And also, it does not mean that there's any sort of strange thing or whatever it is. The truth of the matter is, I feel like what a lot of people need to do is you need to read a book about sex. Just read it. Just go to a bar.
Go to Audible.
Go to Audible. Go so
I don't want to read.
Well, I like a good physical book, but in fact, like there's whole internet pages like about this. Like you can't get your sex science from Twitter. Like,
or school, because it sucks.
Oh my God. Well, that's the problem. Like in school, we don't really teach people, like we have health classes, but we don't teach people health classes.
Abstinence is teaching, and that's not
Abstinence
correct.
is not teaching. No, abstinence is being being a bystander to doing nothing.
Absolutely.
And on top of that too is, listen, I was one of those people that always said we should have had contraception, like they should have condoms in schools.
Provided, yeah, absolutely.
Like we went to a school called Jackson Liberty High School. How cool would it have been if you had like a little Liberty Lion, like
that would have been fucking awkward.
That would have been so funny. Come on now. Would have been like Jackson.
But do you think that half the people
condoms
in school would actually go and pick one up? No.
In I think when you're younger, I'll tell you this, when you're younger, right? If we were to promote that more for younger people, I think in the beginning, I think a lot of people would use condoms.
No, I feel like your family is very openly sexual.
But I'm saying, like, in a world, we should be more
comfortable.
Well, we should be more transparent about.
Absolutely, but me coming from a family that it was like silence was the answer. Like I'd never had a sex talk. Like my mom just silently expected me to know what the fuck I was supposed to be doing or not doing. And my sister was a young teen pregnancy, which God bless her, because I love my niece. She has now 4 kids with the same man. They're married, high school sweethearts. So it does, like, you know, there's positives to that. But, you know, coming from a family that isn't sex positive like yours, it's definitely different. I would have never walked.
I think in an ideal world, I think the world should be a little bit more sex positive about things, because I think that the problem is we talk so much about certain genders on one side of the thing, we talk about so much on certain genders on the other side of the thing, and then we you know, people don't understand, like, you know, people don't understand like how things work. Like I can't tell you the amount of actual people my age who, and they've been around the block, who generally don't know how a woman's vagina works. Does not make any sense. You should know.
I just think you missed the boat. He should have just been a sex therapist.
Maybe. But I still think it's not hard to read. Like, just read. Like, it's not, I mean, I read kind of young, but, you know, some people should just read.
Well,
read a book.
Circling back to that Tinder thing, I just think
don't call somebody a Gorgeosaurus Rex.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Like, that was the first thing that I saw, and I said, oh no. Like, because like I said, I was kind of giving people the benefit of the doubt. I was like, okay, I'm going to scroll. I'm going to see what he looks like, and I'm going to see, like, his vibe. And it just got worse and worse and worse.
Were there more pictures after that? Like, what else did he have?
Hinge works as, like, whatever they like, and then whatever they write, and then it's their photo, and then it's their about me and their age and what they like and what they don't like and all that fun stuff. So it just kept getting worse.
I never had a Hinge. I'm just letting everybody know that.
That's because he's in a loving freaking relationship. Woody-doo.
Listen, all right? Yes.
I'm not hating. I think they're adorable.
She's totally...
I'm not hating. No, I love Christy. No, she's amazing.
She loves Christy. No,
yeah.
She does.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
But
she's an amazing woman.
All that to say, like, be open, be honest, be you. You know, take your own direction in life. Don't let anybody decide that for you. I know that's hard too, because I feel like that didn't click in my head till very recently at an older age. But if you guys can take that away from our podcast at a younger age and really just listen to what your intuition is telling you and not everybody else in society, you will literally be so successful. It's not even funny, because you're going to be on your designated path in life. And
not only will you be successful, you will be happy. Because there's one thing that people tend to do mostly is they neglect their happiness early on, and then they feel guilty about it later on. And when you're guilty, you become miserable, and misery warrants company. And I think the one thing that we have to focus on is making sure that not just our generation, but the generations that come after us understand the pursuit of happiness is the most important thing in life. Yes, we obviously have to be productive members of society, and that's the truth. You know, but at the same time, you should still be happy. And your happiness will then branch down to other generations about their happiness, and so on and so forth. You know? And I think that if you do that, you know, you won't need to call somebody a Gorgeosaurus Rex when you're on Hinge.
I still can't believe that happened to me. But anyway.
And show them your Tums.
And they're your Tums. Like, he obviously just didn't realize it was there, but like, still.
They were Tums, bro.
I mean, intentional posting. That's all I gotta say.
They were Tums.
I think we should wrap it up. And thank you for being on this journey with me, Drew. And thank you everybody who's listening and watching and supporting us. It's only going to go up from here. Like I said, this is a temporary situation and setup until he moves into his place and we take over that place for We Are Still Kids.
And also too, she'll be way closer to me than she is like right now. So it's kind of like great. So it's like we'll be able to do a little bit more. We'll be able to give you guys a little more content, and we'll also be, the cool part about it is like, I'm going to be learning a new place, and I don't know how much Danielle goes there, but like we'll be learning about Philadelphia. Like it's, it's the city that I've always, I love Philadelphia, but like I'd love to know more about it. I haven't really been there like a lot as an adult, so I'm kind of excited.
Facts. It'll be great. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It does help our algorithm push our podcast out there to other people and help other people. And if we have helped you, leave a comment and a heart down below and show us some love. And like I said, comment anything that you want us to talk about, because we are open books. Vulnerable is our number one rule here. So
and you can also follow You're Still Kids on all social media platforms, as well as you can also follow us individually. You can also find Danielle on Tinder and Hinge, as long as you do not start off with calling her a Gorgeosaurus Rex with Thomas in your picture.
Yes. Okay.
Just say hey. Just give her a hey.
Thanks again for listening and watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
I'm waving.
It's so awkward. Okay.